like to do before I go into discussing an attack that's being waged upon us, what I always like to do is prove that there is an attack. Because there's still some people out there who are going to say, oh, you know, this is not an agenda being waged against us. This is not an attack. You know, they're just expressing themselves. You're being paranoid. You're being hypermasculine. You're being homophobic. How can you prove that there's really people in powerful places, the people that own and control these record labels and distribution companies, the people that are in charge of the government and the large corporations in America? How can you prove that they really have an interest in emasculating our young black males? Well, I'm not a prosecutor, but I am an attorney. And so I'm going to give you some evidence to prove what I'm saying. Now, one of the most powerful pieces of information that we can use is the statements of those in leadership over the LGBTQ ZPB movement. These people have been quoted as stating their intentions to spread their lifestyle by targeting our youth, right? This is from the horse's mouth. They have said that they are going to force this stuff upon our youth in the schools, in the gymnasiums, in everywhere that our children go. This stuff will be pushed upon them, and it is, right? There's story after story of a curricula being pushed in the schools teaching LGBTQ. Sally has two moms. Bobby has two dads. What's the name of that cartoon? The Loud House, where the black kid in the cartoon has two dads. Right? Okay, maybe that's a coincidence. Baba Baruti outlined why they would need to create such an agenda. I'm going to get back to why in a second. But I want you guys to go Google the Jaffe Memorandum, right? That's Jaffe Memorandum. Google it when you get a chance. In this memo, the European power structure, the academics who they hire, openly state that one great way to further the goal of population control is to push and increase the homosexual lifestyle in America. Some doctor, I believe, they had write this whole thing out. Go Google Jaffe Memorandum. All right? Jaffe Memorandum. Jaffe. They say it outright. That's an open admission. I think that should go pretty far in proving my case. Now, another thing I want you to do is Google Tyrone Hayes, NSM 200, the National Security Study Memorandum by Henry Kissinger. Correct. That's correct. That is Ty Lee, the godson. I hope I said that right. You're absolutely correct. I want you guys to Google that too. NSSM 200 by Henry Kissinger. They openly advocate, they say that population growth is going to be a major problem in the world. And to slow that down, we need to do things like food shortages, forced abortions, things of that nature. And one of their main aims to curb the growth of the black population is to increase homosexuality amongst our people. Now, that is absolutely correct. Thank you for that, Mr. Sir. Now, Tyrone Hayes. I want you guys to Google this because this brother was doing research on the impact of atrazine. Atrazine is the most commonly used pesticide in America. Atrazine is sprayed on almost all of our crops, all of our vegetables. It seeps into them. It's the most commonly found contaminant in our groundwater. It's a chemical that's getting into the population that's eating this stuff at very troubling rates. And what Tyrone Hayes found was that in frogs, in fish, and even in mammals, and then later on in humans, that this atrazine has the impact of attacking and destroying testosterone to the extent that it will cause a sex change. It could cause males to become completely female to the extent that they could mate with a male. This is what they found in the frogs and fish and things of that nature, and even in mammals. So, Google, Tyrone, and then when the brother started putting this information out and asking why this chemical was so widely used in America, because there's other pesticides we can use. We don't have to use that one. When he started putting out the information, they went after him like worse than Osama bin Laden, right? Google it. Tyrone Hayes, atrazine, and how they persecuted this brother, right? So why would they want to spread this chemical that's going to interfere with our the masculinity of the individuals? Because everyone doesn't have the ability to eat the organic or to eat the whole foods or the foods that are the healthiest and free of these contaminants. So that tells you they're targeting a certain population. So Google Tyrone Hayes, atrazine. Now, the main way that this agenda is spread is through pedophilia. Okay? The main way this agenda is spread is through pedophilia. And in the black community, pedophilia normally, now this is my observation. I feel, now I'm going off into opinion now, that, well, this is fact. 1 in 3 black males go to prison. In prison, there's high coincidences of rape. Many individuals are what you call turned out when they come to prison. But then when those individuals get out, we let them right back in our houses and around our kids. But they family. We're supposed to welcome them back. But do we watch them closely enough? Because as Dr. Umar Johnson says, 95% of all the gender-confused individuals that he interviewed say, this all started when I was sexually assaulted. Right? They lost their way. Their world was rocked. Their whole view on sexuality and the opposite sex and the same sex was rocked when they were sexually assaulted, when they were molested as children. Okay? So the number one way this agenda is spread is through pedophilia. Now, how do we know this is purposeful, though? How can we say there's some group who wants this? Well, look how lenient pedophiles get treated. You get more time for selling drugs than being a pedophile. Right? Some people advocate death for pedophiles. That's probably fair. Because when you take advantage of a child that's defenseless and you do the most heinous, reprehensible acts ever, why do you deserve leniency? Do you see? Mm-hmm. There's plenty of women out here and plenty of men, if that's what you're into, that you don't have to go attack a child. So, the leniency with which pedophiles get treated, the Catholic Church, right? That ought to tell you that this is something that they accept and want to continue to spread. Okay, and let me get back to some other stuff. Because pedophilia is number one. That's the number one way this is spreading. But along the same lines of the atrazine is information that I have been studying lately that Dr. Wesley Muhammad is putting out. And this information goes in depth into the chemical attacks that they're using on young black males from the womb to attack their testosterone. Now, I'm going to give you some names and some government policies and programs that you can go back and Google. Number one in this field is Dr. Peter Breggin. Peter, B-R-E-G-G-I-N. This is a European psychiatrist who is known as the conscience of psychiatrics, right? Because he when they begin to go too far, which they always do, they're devilish, he will actually call them out, right? And one of his main battles has been to fight the racist use of psychiatric medications against young black males who they view as having high potential to be very masculine, very aggressive, very strong, and very rebellious. In other words, any young black male who they think possess the genetic predisposition to become leaders and to stand up against this system, they are targeting them from the womb with psychiatric medications that will decrease that. Well, what's the opposite of masculine, strong, aggressive, rebellious? What's the opposite of that, Vern?
Feminine, weak.
Feminine, weak.
Soft. And rebellious. Pushover.
Pushover. Feminine, weak, soft, pushover. Got any more, Shanique?
I ain't gonna say it.
Don't say it. Feminine, weak, soft, docile.
That's what I'm looking for.
Easy to control. You know, somebody who could never make it in BPM. All right? You know, weak. This is what they want to produce. Now, if you go study the violence prevention initiatives, these are things that Wesley Muhammad outlined in great detail. The violence prevention initiatives that they targeted, this gives it away. After the rebellions in the inner cities in the 60s and the 70s, right? After the rebellions in the inner cities, when I say inner city and urban, you already know that's black. The power structure became increasingly concerned about black male aggression, strength, toughness, testosterone, rebellion, right? They said this is crazy. These people want their rights. These people are tired of being mistreated. And it's these strong, black, masculine males that are driving this violence and rebellion. How can we decrease this? Right? How can we make sure we have no more Malcolms, no more Fred Hamptons, and how can we make sure we have D. Ray McKesson, Bayard Rustin, and what's that other one? I can't stand him, the ugly one. James Baldwin. How can we have more of them? Because we can control them. They won't go too far, right? They're easy to control. That's right, Joy Israel. I'm going to be bringing Joy Israel on in a minute because she has a black son. And when we get to talking about protecting our sons, which is our main aim here, this is a very conscious, very active, great young sister. I'm going to bring her on as a live guest to discuss this situation with us when we get to that point. So just give me a few minutes to prove that there is a conspiracy. Okay, we're going to get more D. Ray McKessons and no more Fred Hampton, right? This is what the government said. So when you Google Dr. Peter Breggin, the conscience of psychiatrics, Google the violence prevention initiatives, there were 2, and Google Dr. Frederick Goodwin, all right? Frederick Goodwin. And when you read, and it's a particular article that I read that summarized all of this, I'll post it when we get done. These were federally funded programs. What is this man talking about? Look up epidemic killing black people so they don't talk about it. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. We'll get to that later. These were federally funded programs to say these cities went up in flames because these masculine black alpha males led rebellions. We're going to target them before they even become men and put drugs and things into them. One of them was Depo-Provera. This is a birth control drug used in females that they begin to administer to young black males, right? Depo-Provera, because it attacks the testosterone. It throws off your whole development as a young black male. So yeah, you become more docile and cooperative. You also become brain dead and feminine. They might have gave some of that to Young Thug. So now this is the thing with these chemicals. It's been proven that they did these studies. It's been proven that they experimented with these chemicals on our people, Depo-Provera. What we don't know is how widespread it was, how many young black males were impacted. It's clear that some were impacted, but we know for a fact. See, this is why I say pedophilia is number one. We know for a fact that 80, 90, 95% of our young black males who are gender confused were molested at an early age. So that is still where we have to focus, but we have to recognize that there's another component to this agenda, and we have to be prepared to fight on that front as well. So to finish this up, how else do we know there's an agenda? Obama's bathrooms. Is everyone familiar with Obama's bathroom policy? Obama put out a executive directive saying that every public school had to allow young black boys to use the girls' room if they identified as a girl. And he put out, well, something happened on Facebook. He put out, let me see, can I get Facebook back going here? I don't know what's going on with Facebook. One second, people. Something happened with Facebook. Probably Sadiq's fault. I'm going to have to get this back going again. Are they trying to be politically correct about killing us? Not no more. Not with Donald Trump in the White House. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let me get Facebook back on. Okay. I don't know what happened. They just logged us off. Maybe I was dropping some truth bombs on them and they couldn't take it. We're exposing the agenda, baby. We're exposing the agenda. We're exposing the agenda. Okay, I'm letting the Facebookers get the word that we're back on. They knocked us off the air, but we're coming back on. All right, so let me go. I'm going to go on to Obama's bathrooms because I think most of my Facebookers should already know. Obama's directive said that whatever gender a child identifies as on that day, you must allow them to use that restroom. All right? So if Zeke goes to school one day and decides he's a girl, it's a big old black girl, you gotta let him use the girls' room, right? And if a girl decides that day she wants to be a boy, you gotta let him use it. Gender fluidity. And Obama told them that if you don't do it, you'll lose federal funding. So it's clear that this is being encouraged. This is being encouraged. In fact, it's being forced and pushed past encouraged. So that was Obama, for anybody who thinks Obama was on our side in this situation. They're teaching this in schools. They're putting it into worksheets as if it's just a normal part of life. And as you can see, as we talked about at the beginning, they've got our rappers, our most influential entertainers, embracing this lifestyle. So I think it's clear that there is an agenda. Now, like I said, I didn't want to talk about this, so I typed out my reasoning for why I would even go back to this subject. Oh, shoot, I don't think I printed off all my... Oh, yes, I did. They're right there. Okay. Listen to me, black folks. This is my reasoning in being so tough on this subject. Family is the foundation of African-centered communities, societies, and nations. Everything starts with the family, right? Let's get this clear. Everything starts with the family, the Ankh. All right. Our aim must be, this is our main aim, because they say the first principle, the first law of nature is self-preservation. Well, you take that to a people, we want to preserve and ensure our existence as a people. So our aim must be the insurance of our continuance as a people, as us. We have to make sure that we continue to survive and thrive and not go extinct, because that's their plan. Right? That's their plan. And it's the Brazil plan, I believe, that they're following. Either the Brazil or the Argentina. You got to Google that too, because they have essentially amalgamated, assimilated, and eliminated the vast majority of their black population by increasing the self-hatred of blacks. They want to assimilate and intermarry with whites, and generation after generation, they pretty much eliminated, they pretty much soaked up their blackness and assimilated that into the white population. So we must ensure our continuance as a people, as us, meaning we do not want to continue to survive in America only to be, as D'Angelo Glover would say, dark-skinned Europeans. We take on their beliefs, we take on their culture, we take on their ways of life. Hell, you might as well be dead. You're not an African no more. You're not a black man. You're just a dark-skinned European walking around here. So we want to continue our existence as a people, as us. Okay? You do that by producing children as us, right? Not producing brainwashed European young thug wannabes. You have to produce Africans and raise Africans. That's the first problem with the homosexual lifestyle. Z, if there's a very strong, wealthy, educated gay couple, two black men, and they work very, very hard, and they make a lot of money. They make $200,000 a year. They drive foreign cars. How many children will they produce in 10 years?
0.
20 years?
0.
30.
0.
What about 40?
0.
See where this is going? See where this is going? Right? Not only are we not raising Africans, we won't even be producing anymore. Okay? So, no matter how educated, articulate, well-paid they are, they can't produce us and they can't raise us, because the next thing, and once you produce this black baby, you have to raise this black baby as an African. Here's the African perspective on this situation. Feminine, masculine, children, balance. It's just that simple. If you're not practicing this, you're not practicing an African-centered lifestyle. You're being a European. So you got two problems for the LGBT black movement, the D. Ray McKesson Black Lives Matters movement. We're going to talk about that more in a second. All right, raising them as Africans and protecting them. The only way to do this, the only way we can survive, the only way we can prosper, the only way we can produce this next generation and raise them in conformity with the principles that our ancestors has left us, is with the masculine, feminine balance. Man, why is this thing keep messing up my Facebook? I'm going to have to go out and back in all over again. 1 second, people. Sorry about this. Okay, here we go. I think they let us get back in. I don't know what the thing's doing. All right? The best way to do this is with the masculine-feminine balance working in complementarity. Okay? There's no other way to do this. It's not a great way to raise a child with just completely masculine energy in the household. That's going to be an off-balance child. You're going to need some feminine energy from somewhere to balance that out. It's not good to raise a child with an all-feminine balance energy in the household. That's off-balance. That's how you get young thug. Okay? So, the only way to do this is to practice our African culture, our African lifestyle. Here we go. They want to decrease our numbers, breed us through assimilation into ambiguity, and exterminate us. Us not reproducing or not reproducing as us only pushes that forward. Okay? So I don't know how simple I can make this. If blacks have always been hated in this country, and they have, if they've always wanted to get rid of us, and they have, if they don't want us to reproduce and continue, and they don't, why would we adopt a lifestyle that only furthers that? Am I tripping? It just sounds simple to me. Yeah. I don't want any more black kids. Cool, we'll stop making babies. Oh, damn. Here's a good job. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So, it just sounds so simple to me. So, this is where I'm going to earn my money. I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to try to bring in Sister Joy, if I can find her, so that she can give her input on this. 1 second. Let's see. She's going to give her input on this as a conscious black mother. Let's see. Let's see if we can get her up here. I hope y'all will be able to hear. We fight by education of self and independence. Correct. We need to be re-educated. We need to focus on independence, which gender-confused men don't do. Gender-confused men don't ever want independence for our own people. They always want to integrate. Okay, let's see what's going on. I've sent the invite. Okay, I sent the invite. Okay, here she goes. I'm thinking that's her. Okay, here she goes. She's supposed to be coming in. Now I'm finna go to the points now. We're gonna hit our 10 points and we're gonna be out of here. What's up, Miss Joy Israel?
Hotep family.
Hotep. How's everything going?
All is well, all is well. How you doing?
I'm doing very good. You ready to jump into this very serious topic?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready to add my 2 cents.
Okay, good. Now, how old is your son?
He's 12.
He's 12. And what type of neighborhood do you live in? Is it mostly black? Or mixed? What type of neighborhood is it? It's a mixture. Okay. Well, I have some rules here. Are you interested in protecting your son against the gender fluidity, gender confusion attack that is being launched? Well, first I have to ask you, do you believe that there is a gender fluidity attack?
Oh, yes, very much so.
And why do you believe that?
Protect him by all means.
By all means. Why do you believe that?
I mean, just from the music that's out here nowadays and the images that they're seeing, it is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you just saw that new clown that's out with the song "Married to the Game" where he's in a wedding dress. We were talking about that at the dinner table last night about how that was not cool and, you know, it's not acceptable to, by no means should a man look like that or behave like that, and you know what type of message he's conveying is quite sad. It makes me want to throw out the TV.
Well, let me ask you this. Hey, 1 second. I see an Israelite that I need to block because they try and take the conversation way off my sauce life. I'm gonna make sure I block him when we get done with this. Okay. Yeah. They want to just say, let's get back to the Bible. Duh. All right. So this young man had on a wedding dress. The current trend is to say that you're being judgmental. See, now the Bible says don't judge. You're judging these people and you're condemning them by saying that he can't wear a wedding dress and he can't express himself the way that he wants to express himself. So how do you respond to the argument?
It's not about judging him because, you know, okay, I could say, all right, you do you, but what type of message are you conveying? How is this elevating our community? How is this helping our people in any way? And I just have no more patience for people that's not trying to bring us up. You know, you're only trying to bring us down. How is wearing a dress helping my son or helping my community by any means or helping our black men at all? How?
So are you saying that a man in a dress cannot be a positive force in the black community?
Hell no. No, he cannot be a positive voice. No, not at all. And I try to make my son understand, like, because of the fine balance, you know, you don't want to make them hate anybody or bully or, you know, anyone, and you want to, in this society, we have to respect everybody's decisions, but at the same time, I'm going to make him understand that that's not okay, and it's not acceptable, and it's not what men do.
So do you watch Tyler Perry's Medea movies?
anymore.
Me too. Sitting up there laughing. I used to watch him too.
I don't find the humor in it at all.
Not now. Like
I used to a long time ago, but now I'm just like, it looks ridiculous. But my 2 cents I want to add is that not only is there an agenda to feminize our black men, but they are doing it through food, okay? And if you read this book right here, Queen of Fool's book, it's called The City of Wellness, okay? And then right in the very beginning of her book, she talks about how we are malnourished as a people. Okay?
say the book title. Say the book title and the author again.
The book title is by Queen of Fool. It's called City of Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Restoring your health through 7 kitchens of consciousness, okay? We have to restore our young men through food, okay? Because when you are malnourished, meaning that you're not eating properly,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting the proper vitamins and minerals, you can't think, because what you put in your stomach affects your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you're dehydrated, you're not drinking enough water, you're drinking all this soda and sugar and crap and Takis and hot Cheetos and donuts and pizza. It's not conducive to building up a strong black man, okay? Mm-hmm. And in order for us to reclaim that and help to curb some of this feminization out here, we gotta start eating better. We gotta start eating to live. We gotta start eating some more live foods. And she talks about 12 of the 15 top death-related illnesses, African Americans contribute to 12 of those, 12 out of 15 of those. So we must regain our black men as well as our women through eating better.
Well, I agree 100%. A lot of it is, like I was talking about with the atrazine, the stuff that we put in our bodies. And so I know that's one of Miss Israel's main points of emphasis is the diet. Yes. And so she's going to be...
So important.
We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do a whole thing on that, because the people on Instagram can hear you right now. And so...
what's up, Instagram?
Yeah. You could get... We may have to do a whole show on that, because nutrition is crucial. And Zeke and Sadiq always eating McDonald's, so I don't know how they gonna be strong black men. So anyway,
gotta get rid of that McDonald's, man. How y'all young kings gonna rise up and take over? Y'all eating stuff like that.
So let me ask you this. Earlier I talked about pedophilia, and this is one thing that I noticed. We ain't casting no blame, but with me, I don't ever really try to be politically correct. A lot of black women, and I'm not saying this is you. Well, I'll ask you: Do you have friends that you hang out with that are effeminate, emasculated, gender confused black males? Do you have any friends of that nature?
No.
Okay, none. There are many black women who do. I'm sure you've seen this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, my issue is this. If you have a friend as a black woman who is a gender confused, emasculated black male, and you have a young black son, I see many of these women who will allow the gender confused male into their homes, around their sons, and even to babysit or keep their sons. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's smart parenting at all, because what type of message are you sending? And we trust too many people with our children. I'm a social worker. I work in DCF, dealing with seeing kids all the time that's been through a lot of trauma, that's been molested, that's been abused, and it's always by someone you know. And a lot of times I see males, and that's not really discussed. We hear about women being molested and abused a lot, but it's actually happening to our young boys at a high rate. So I don't think it's smart at all.
Well, neither do I, and I'm glad you said that, because it feels like some of the most the fiercest defenders of this confused lifestyle are our women. And it confuses me why they would be this way when they already have a depleted pool of dateable black men. Why they would defend trends, forces, and phenomena that create more gender confused black men who don't want to be with black women. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And so,
have you read the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome?
No, I haven't.
Book is very, very powerful, and it talks about that, how things we went through generations ago or centuries ago are still things we battle with today, as far as how they changed our minds. They took roles and reversed them. They took the women and put the women in a different role now, to where we all confused about gender roles. And you hear a lot of women say, "Oh, I don't need a man. I don't need no man to do such and such for me." But actually, and this is just my opinion, we can agree, disagree, but I prefer it to have my role. As a woman, I have my role. As a man, you have your role. And like you said, it's the balance. We balance out each other. If I'm a woman and I'm trying to step into a man's role, it's going to lead to a lot of confusion. And also, going back to the post-traumatic slave syndrome, things that we went through, with that coming into effect now, we're still seeing that linger today with our people. So it's a lot of confusion. Where I feel like the start is in my home, in my community, in my surroundings, and that's why I try to join things where I feel like I can make a difference and see a difference in my people, and through eating better, through stuff like BPM, having my son involved and stuff like that. That's important to me, so he can see what it is, what real men do, what a real black man looks like. That's important. I've met a lot of grown men that don't know really what a man does, what a man is supposed to be, let alone a black man. So
well, check this out. This is what I want to say. I'm gonna close out with this. I want to bring Ebony Bella on. That's another strong black woman who has 2 black boys. So I want to get her insight on this. But your insight has been very, very valuable. And I want to ask you this because of your last comment now. Your last comment talked about gender. Your last comment talked about gender roles, what a woman should do, what a man should do, how this balances out, how this is best for us. And I talk about what a man should do. I talk about what a woman should do. I talk about these different gender roles and how they are what's best for us, and everyone has to know their role and play their role. When I say these things, what a black man should do, what a real man should do, they call me hyper masculine. So based on what you just said, the exact same things, you would be hyper masculine. And there's nothing masculine about you. So, how do you...
To whose standards, though?
There you go. You just said it.
I'm just saying, like you told me when I saw you at Sankofa class, some people ain't gonna be on the same agenda, and those people, fuck them. Okay?
Damn.
Because if you can't get with it, then you gonna get less. Okay? Because we need to get back to that. We gotta get back to the roles. Okay? A woman as a real African woman, honey, you got a role. Okay? Your role is to be a nurturer. You are to take care of the family. We are, like Queen Afua said, to be up in this kitchen, providing, nurturing meals to our men so they can be strong, so they can go out and be warriors, okay? And protect and defend. So if you don't agree, hey, but I know my role as a black queen.
Oh Lord. Man.
Right there.
You're we're gonna have to get you a women's class, right? We're gonna have to get
one. Let me put that out there.
Put it out.
Every other Saturday at the Sankofa. No, I'm sorry. Every other Saturday, because we do BPM every first and third Saturday. So every second and fourth Saturday at the mosque on Main Street. We have a women's group. We meet at 1 o'clock. If you're interested, come out. We, talk about all kinds of things. Right now, we've been learning about sewing and crocheting. Then we had another class where we learned about juicing. Then we had another class about healing from past trauma and how to cope with that as women. So if you're interested, come on out. We would love to see you.
Well, Miss Joy Israel, you did a great job, and
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Be encouraged, be empowered, and keep pushing, because we need our women. We need women to follow your example, and so we can stop this war between the black man and the black woman. Okay?
Shay, thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll see you tomorrow at Sankofa.
Let's show.
All right. Now, how do we do this?
Don't forget my shirt.
Oh, I will not. No problem.
Okay, bye.
Okay. She pretty much laid it down. Let me see if I can get Ebony on here, because Ebony off the chain too. I'm gonna see if she want to do it. Let's see. How do you do this? Man, I wish I knew how to do this. Okay. Because I know Ebony got some information for these people. All right. I'm going to get another strong black woman on here. All these people who say we hyper masculine and we devalue women, most of our guests have been women. And the one black guy we had was more like a European woman. So, you know what I'm saying? What's oxymoron hyper masculine? They had somebody over here talking about kilts, right? Saying that the Egyptians wore kilts. First of all, a damn kilt is Irish, right? Now, the garments that the Egyptians wore, the Egyptians, they wore these garments as a part of their own indigenous culture. They were not associated with femininity. There was no gender confusion of, you got on this garment, so you're a woman. You're trying to be a woman or wear a woman's garment. That's not the case here in America. Black men don't wear wedding dresses because it's our own indigenous culture. Black men doesn't wear little girl skirts because it's our own indigenous culture. It's a totally different, unrelated, irrelevant phenomenon. And it's salad in the sun, Sultan. Salad in the sun, that sounds kind of gay. Okay? And so anybody that brings that up, that's just a veiled defense of this gender confusion, right? That's just a veiled defense of this gender confusion. And remind me to delete that person talking about, but the Egyptian men wore kilts. No, the hell they didn't. They're not Irish. So first of all, find out what the hell the correct name for it is, why they wore it, what was the cultural context, and then come back and talk. Because black men are not wearing skinny jeans and dresses because that's our own culture and we came up with it. So if I could block the dude right now, I would. But, you know, we're in the middle of this live thing, so I can't block him right now. But he's going to be blocked right along with this other guy as soon as I get done with this, talking about the Egyptians wearing kilts. Get the hell out of here. Okay? Now that we've had a great black woman, let me see. I tried to get Ebony on here. Maybe she don't want to join us tonight. Invite to broadcast. I don't really know how to do this. Okay, I'm inviting her. I'm going to see if she accepts the invite. Hey, I'm gonna get rid of that dude. I don't play like that to kill. Miss Ebony.
What's up?
What's going on?
I'm good. You sure you want me on your live? 'Cause you know.
Well, if there's no places where we can be safe and talk that real talk, then only the gender fluidists will have the airwaves on the platform. So somebody's gotta get on here and say what's real. Now don't get us Ebony, don't get us put on the black identity extreme. Hey, don't get us put on the black identity extremists. But go ahead, give us your feel thus far of the discussion. How you feel? What's your point of view?
I think that it's really plaguing our community, and you know we are allowing these things in our home. First of all, we got to stop allowing these things. If I hear them listening to certain kind of music or seeing certain images, it's a no. You don't watch that. You can't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And that started when they were 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw SpongeBob and Patrick playing Mama and Daddy. That's supposed to be boring. We not doing that. There's no SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
So, it starts in the home. Yes, because they're going to go to school. They have to go to school because we're not homeschooling. We're not creating African-centered schools. So we send our children into these public schools where they got to schools because they want federal funding and all of that good stuff. So, okay, you're going to see the boys going in the girls' bathroom. You're going to see the girls going in the boys' bathroom. And like I said on the comment, judgment and saying that, no, I'm just not tolerating that, those are two different things. I don't teach my children to judge, but I teach them right from wrong and teach them, okay, that's their lifestyle, but in my home, it's a no. Sorry, not, it's a no. Completely. They know I teach them this, and this is what they're feeding you. This is the images that they're feeding you. This is the music that they're trying to put in your ear because they want the black population to go on a decline.
Correct.
We always talk about we the minority. We the majority. You know what I'm saying? They know that we can have babies.
Correct.
So, and then you have, I don't agree with Madonna, all these people, Angelina Jolie, y'all adopting our black people.
Hell no. Hell no.
But as black people, we got to start adopting our own. We don't do the adoption. It's a lot of things. We are allowed this. So now you got these kids growing up confused. Then now your child want to be friends with them. They confusing your child. No, I pick my children's friend. Friend who? No, that's not your friend.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I agree 100% with what you're saying. I like what Joy was saying. We have to get back to roles. I'm not saying that, I got to be in the kitchen cooking because I got a good job and I'm not stepping off my job making the money that I take. But I know that when I step into my home, I have to be a mother and a woman. I'm not a man. I can't raise my children to be men. I can only tell them what I think a black man should be. You have to make these positive roles. BPM is great for mothers that don't have positive black males in their home. We got to stop trusting our children with everybody, everywhere. Because, like when I first met you, I told you, I said I had to peep it out. Let me see what these people are about. Because just because, he's this 6 feet, 300-pound muscular man, what does that mean? That's masculine. That doesn't mean you're going to teach my son how to be a man. He could be a pedophile just as well as a little dude could be.
Could have been Eddie Long.
Absolutely. We have to get in there. First of all, we have to watch and observe who we're leaving our children with. I come to your house at 2 o'clock in the morning, picking up my boy. Because we are silent in the black community when it comes to that. It's like, no, you can't say anything. Girls are being raped, but boys are being raped. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta really watch that because I tell my boys every day, they rape the little boys too, right? Not to make them afraid, but I'm just letting them know they'll fool you and rape you too. And I ain't talking about women raping you. I'm talking about men. So we have to really feed our boys and our young girls the real information. Stop with this fake mess. Stop trying to pacify and everything. No, I need to teach you what's real.
That's right.
Because I want grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. And we always say, if my child was, okay, it's my child. But I know that I'm teaching them the right things. Understand what I'm saying? So it's just a thing. You're going to accept it or not. And I don't accept it, but I'm not judging anybody's lifestyle. I would never want anybody to think that I'm judging them. I don't judge, but I know what comes into my home. I can't stop what's going on outside of my home. But in my home, we talk about realness. We talk about real things. I teach them their culture. I teach them who they are, where they came from, whether it is from Africa, whether it is from the Americas, wherever. But they know the real deal because they're not getting that in school. They got to take these classes now, accepting people and this. When your child comes and say, this girl is what do they call it when you're going into being a boy or something? I don't know what it's called, but
Prove it.
whatever.
Transgender. Oh,
No, they are actually going into taking the hormones to become a boy.
you talk like the hormone replacement therapy. When they call it
Right. So
transitioning.
right. So when you have to sit down and explain to your child, oh, Mama, what is this? We got to start teaching these children the real deal. If not, we're gonna have a lost nation, and we're gonna lose. We already lose because we're not standing up. We really gonna be lost. I mean, it is what it is. Like you said, the dude in the wedding dress sucking on the gun. What is that showing out of there? It's all imagery. You know what I'm saying? So you close your eyes and imagine the real imagery, what that's putting out.
You-
So when the children start to learn about sexuality, sex, what do you think that's really, what's the image gonna pop in their head? You
They know
understand
what
I'm
they know what that is. They know exactly what they're doing.
saying?
So let me do this.
Psychologically, we got counseling and all that good stuff. But you know, I can talk for days learning.
Well, I'm gonna keep you right here because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down this list of 10 protective measures that we can take, because we can talk about the agenda, which we've established that there is an agenda. We all agree on that. But how are we gonna fight back? Some of it you already mentioned. So I got these 10 rules that I want to put out to the black mothers and the black fathers, any black parent who has a black son. We're talking about sons specifically. We'll cover daughters on another day. We talking about something specifically about sons. I'm gonna go down my list of 10, and every now and then as I go through this, I'm a pause because I'm not a mother, and I've never been a single mother. But I want to get your perspective on it too as well. So let's start with number 1. And you already said it. My number 1 was this: protect your children from everyone. Watch them. Pedophiles are numerous and they look to defile our children. This is my perspective on this. Like you just said, when we think of a pedophile, I think of somebody that's Greek, European, the Catholic Pope, some weird guy watching porn, some weird white guy with a mustache watching porn late at night. That's what we think of, right? And that's true. They're the kings of pedophilia. But when I say watch everyone, because it could be your uncle, it could be your cousin, it could be somebody who you have at the house any day. And that's why I believe we have to watch all of them when they're around our children, right? I got 2 daughters, one 2 years old, one 6 months old. There's very few, I don't like them to be out of my sight too long, right? So we don't know who the hell these people are. Even the people in their family, right? So I believe that's, if you
gotta watch friends too. When they ask me, can they go to somebody's house and spend the night? Because you have these children that are trying to, I guess, turn them out, bothering other children.
experiment.
You have to watch where they spend the night at.
Well, that whole spend the night thing, I know how to fix that. No.
Absolutely.
At some point, I guess at some point they're gonna do it. But with my 2 daughters, that's gonna be some years down the road. Spend the night. Well, I'm gonna have to go investigate this home. I want to be on FaceTime every hour. You know what I'm saying? Okay, spend the night. That's something crazy. Now, so that's the first step to fighting pedophilia, because pedophiles only operate when you're not looking, right? Now, my next step is this. Because I know that a lot of these medications that they're giving our children are impacting them, making them infertile, making them more feminine, making them docile, making them dumb as hell. My next thing, and these aren't really in order, but my next thing is to find African-centered psychiatrists and psychologists. When they try to send my kid, if they ever did, I don't trust some white psychiatrist to diagnose my kid. All they want to say is, the kid has ADHD, put him on this. The kid has that, put him on that. That's not African. We never drugged our kids to death like they're doing now. These days, they're drugging kids to death. They're drugging them into docility, if that's a word. I might claim it as my own. They're drugging them into just being zombies. So I don't trust any European psychologist, psychiatrist, anything of that nature. I want an African, if I ever have to go through this, I would want an African-centered psychiatrist, just like Joy just said, to talk about what my kid is eating, what's going into their bodies, what is it in their surroundings, what is it that's impacting them socially, before we just start saying, well, give them 8 pills a day. You know what I'm saying? So that's number 2 on my thing. The next thing is this, vaccines. The more I learn about vaccines, the more I hate them. Right? And this is an area that I haven't been able to, I didn't study that much in the past. We just said, well, you have a baby, they get their shots. Take them to get their shots. They got to get their shots. They 1-year-old shots. They 2-year-old shots. Why in the hell we got to get all these shots? What the hell are they shooting into us?
Yeah, they're adding shots. The older they got to have this, they got to have that. So, I agree with Joy. She said they have the cereal for breakfast, that's for sugar. Yeah, I agree with that.
Let me see what she said.
But those vaccines are crazy.
Correct.
Yeah.
The more I learn about...
I had my children to go, it was okay to vaccinate, but now I'm starting to research that more. Like, oh my God, like they really put this in their body?
Correct. And one person that's really big on that is Bill Gates, spreading these damn vaccines around the world. And I just can't believe that we'll trust a white person to give our kids shots that's supposed to make them healthy and strong when we know that's what they don't want. So that's my number 3.
Right.
Number 4. My number 4 was some of what we just been talking about now. We must be fearless enough to determine who we are and who we are not. Right? Right now, Black Lives Matter is telling us that the LGBTQ movement, transgender, transsexuality, all of this is a part of the black struggle. They're the same. It's part and parcel. We have to fight for that just like we have to fight for this. But then there's people like Straight Black Pride saying, wait a second, that's actually counter to the black struggle. We do not need to allow them to infiltrate us. And that's the opposite of who we are. I believe that we have to be bold enough to say, that's not African, that's not us, that's not our lifestyle. If you want it, go the hell 10 miles away from us, because this is who we are and this is who we're going to be. So that's number 4. We got to be bold and fearless enough to determine and tell people who we are and who we are not. Now, just like you said, number 5, I put proactive, purposeful teaching on what manhood is and what it is not, and the obligation to build families. Just like you said, in your household, you have real conversations. In your household, you don't hold punches. In your household, you lay it down, what we are not. What is manhood, what it isn't. Manhood is not being in a dress on your knees giving a blowjob. It's not manhood. Okay? Do we have the guts to say that? Well, in BPM we do. If you don't have the guts to say what it is and what it ain't, I'm talking about proactive. What do I mean by proactive? Don't wait till your kid go to school and get told the wrong thing to come back and correct it. As soon as he can understand, you start to tell him, this is what a man does. This is what it means to be a man. And then you're going to be called hyper-masculine. But I don't see how they're going to call our women that. We got women on our side now. This is what we need. They can't call our women hyper-masculine. You got to tell them, you got to be proactive, ahead of the curve, telling them, this is who you are, this is what we do, this is how we think, this is our perspective. The only person that you should be with is a black queen, period. Well, what about shut the hell up? Well, my teacher said, the teacher can go to hell. But my friend, it's not your friend. Like you just said, it's not your friend. So that's my next thing. Dang, number 6, you said this too. Number 6, peer control. I believe in peer control. You don't get to pick your friends. You don't get to pick your classes at school. They tell you what classes you need, right? I'm not going to let you pick what you want to eat. Like you say, you would eat Frosted Flakes and donuts every day. You don't get to pick what you want to eat. So you don't get to pick what you want to wear. You're not wearing no skinny jeans in my house, and you don't get to pick your friends. Right? I'm going to sit here and tell you, that person is not good for you. That person will have a terrible impact on you. Never invite that person to my house. I better never see you hanging out with that person. And I'm going to tell you why. Right? And if you've instilled the correct principles in them, this is the thing. If you put the correct principles in these kids, they'll do a better job of picking their own friends. I know I ain't never have to worry about Zeke hanging out with any young thugs.
Right, yeah, I don't have to worry about my boys because they know.
They know. Once they know, they know. Now, the next thing I want to make clear, this is my number 7. I want every black boy to understand that it's your job to create a family and build that family and protect that family. If we do that, the whole LGBTQ movement goes out the window. Because you're not creating families when you're dating Dante. You're not going to be creating children when you're dating Donovan. You have to get a black woman. It's your mandate to, as the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. If all our boys understand that, then we got D-Ray McKesson kicked to the curb already. Right? Now, and that family man thing goes into number 8. And you said this as well. I want all you women to understand this. I was researching gospel music, right? And there was one of the greatest gospel singers ever. I forget his name. He was from, I believe, Cleveland, Ohio. Black guy. He was as gay as they could be. He was so gay that he adopted his young gay lover to really make him his own. He ended up giving the boy AIDS. And many times in the church, we put our boys with these men who we think are mentors to them. And these men don't want to be mentors. They want to be Eddie Longs. And so I want all of our women to be very careful, like Ebony said. Just because some guy's coming along, you say, you'll be a good influence on my son. He wants to mentor your James Cleveland. That's his name. That's his name, James Cleveland. Google him. Big old pedophile. And in the church, women, don't think just because this guy's in the church or you think he's doing well, this might be a weirdo. Watch who you allow to mentor your children. Like Ebony said, sit back and watch him. Pop up on him at random times. See what he's doing. See what he's saying. What is this guy really about? Because you might be turning your son over to Bishop Eddie Long, and then you're going to be disappointed when he come back as D-Ray McKesson or Young Thug. So be careful who you allow to mentor your sons. And here's a simple rule. Now, a lot of people may or may not know I'm a Christian. And even as a Christian, I can say, do not put your boys in the church choir. Don't do it. Okay? Do we need to argue about it? Just don't do it. If you go up in that church, now 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to be honest with you. You go up in that church, and the guys in the choir clapping like this. And you going to put your son in the choir? Whew, you better put your son in BPM. All right? Don't put your son in the choir. Repeat after me. Don't put your son in the choir. No. If he want to sing songs, get him a microphone at the house. The choir is a breeding ground. Now, some people might get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to say like we say in the hood, they can't beat me. All right? They can't beat me. So I'm just telling you, I was born and raised in the church. I know about the good and the bad. Now, I know some of my conscious warriors don't believe there's any good in the black church, but that's not true. I might have to do a whole lesson on that because they hate Christianity. But one thing I can tell you, don't put your son in that choir. And last but not least, this is the thing my African-centered warriors. Number 10, we are gonna have to take a strong, bold, aggressive stance on these issues. We have been pushed to the margins, meaning we have become the minority on this issue. People are more bold to say gay lives matter, DeRay McKesson, fight for these issues. They're born this way. It's only natural. And they don't have us to back up, bow down, shut up, and be scared. Let me tell you something. The more we back down and be afraid, the more ground they're going to keep gaining. The more we say, oh, well, you know, I don't believe that, but, you know, that's them. And it's not my job to judge them, and it's not my job to say anything. The more you become passive, the more you stay on the sidelines, they're gonna win, right? So from now on, we have to stand up and say, listen, damn it, I don't care if you think that's just self-expression. My son is not wearing a damn dress, and if your son does wear dresses, keep him the hell away from my son and my daughter, okay? We're not getting caught up in it, and we're not going to be quiet about it, okay? We're not going to be quiet about it. We're not going to be docile about it. We're not going to be soft about it. We're not going to be weak about it. It's time for us to take a strong stance. Everybody get this book. Mlamu Baruti, Baba Baruti. He spelled it out clearly. You're not going to be able to be passive no more. If we was on the plantation, right, and we wanted to get free and we said, well, yeah, I do think this is wrong, but it's not my job to get all caught up in that. So I'm going to just keep picking this cotton and maybe one day, you know, it'll end. We would have still been slaves, right? You're going to have to be bold, you're going to have to be fearless, and you're going to have to take an aggressive stance with these people because they're aggressive. They giving guns blowjobs now. They're aggressive. They're not passive no more. They used to say, just leave me alone and let me live my life. Now they're saying, all of you are going to be exposed to my life, and you're going to be pulled into my life, and if you don't like it, so what? So it's time for us to get a little bit of Tupac, Muhammad Ali, and who is that at the door? I didn't even know nobody was coming over here. Okay, Zeke got the 9mm. It'll be okay. So that's my number 10. So that's all I got. What do you? Are you on board with all those rules, Miss Ebony?
Of course, you know I am.
Okay, so we've had the support of 2 strong black women. 2 strong black African-centered women. And they say I'm right. They say I'm right. And they can't be called hypermasculine because they're both very feminine. So take that to the gender fluidists and shove it down their throats. So thanks, Miss Ebony. I'm going to log you off so you can go back to being a mother. Are your kids coming to the event Saturday?
Caleb.
Where's the other one going to be?
What's happening? What's happening?
Doing something. I forgot what you're doing. We're doing something this weekend. I can't think of something big, something hungry, something.
Where are you going to be? Are you going to come watch the debate?
Yes.
Because I'm about to win this debate.
Oh, Lord. I'll be there.
All right, cool. All right, all right, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do now that we've covered that, I'll just stay on for a few more minutes. If anybody has questions, then I'll go ahead and take a few questions and answer them to the best of my ability. How you doing here?
Sadiq asked me, was I coming?
Sadiq normally be trying to get Felicia to come. What? Oh, we didn't tell anybody about that.
Who's Felicia?
A 35-year-old woman that he got a crush on. Anybody on Insta got any questions? Because I'm about to get up off here now. I gave you them 10 rules. Protect these boys. They're going to try to get them in dresses if you don't protect them.
Yeah.
Stop being idiots. The name of the book, Homosexuality and the Effeminization of African Males by Dr. Mlamu Baruti, the foremost scholar on this subject. And I also would suggest that you go on YouTube and watch The Effeminization of Black Males by Irritated Genie. Irritated Genie. Go watch his it's more of a documentary than just a video. Go watch The Effeminization of Black Males on YouTube. And you better be ready to for what you're gonna get, because it's gonna be serious. The Effeminization of Black Males on YouTube by Irritated Genie, and Homosexuality and the Effeminization of African Males, the book by Mlamu Barudi. So there you go. I think you guys should check out those. That'll give you a good foundation to understanding this assault on our young black males. Any other questions they have? Let's see what they got over here on. Where's the debate? The debate is going to be Saturday, 5000 North Main Street, Jacksonville, Florida, 1 p.m. It's going to be a warrior lawyer going up against a warrior scholar, professor, on the topic of should we stay or should we go? Is there any future in America for black people? And I'm telling you that I'm coming prepared, and I'm going to set the house on fire. You know, not like an arsonist, but like a Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be in a conscious environment with some energy and some passion, be there on Saturday. I'm trying to figure out, are we going to stream it live or should I just record it and post it later so I can edit it? Because there's going to be some things that get said in this debate, right? It's going to be some things that get said. So it's going down Saturday, 1 p.m. Calling all conscious in North Florida. Yes, you can get my book on Amazon, The Blueprint for Black Youth Empowerment, and Nothing to Show for It. Both are available on Amazon. Both of these will give you lots of information. For those of you who are raising young black males, coaching young black males, mentoring young black males, you need to get... Yeah, Ebony was probably right. We probably need to record and edit it before we post it, because I know it's finna get live. I already been working on my PowerPoint. It's finna get live. It's finna get live. I'm so crunk. I've been working on this. Normally I give a BPM lecture. I put it together the night before. This one I've been working on it for over a week, because I'm going. This woman. Now I hate to say this woman, but this woman carries prestige. Everyone respects her. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of my supporters are afraid that since she's a professor with such great credentials, that she's going to come in and tear some stuff down. Well, I don't want to quote Beyonce, but I always say, you must not know by me. I'm going to bring some heat. Now, I know she got a doctorate and done dissertations and this, that, and the third. But I'm standing on the shoulders of Marcus Garvey. I can't lose. All right? So if y'all in the North Florida area, y'all better come on. If y'all not in the area, I'm most likely going to record it and post it. It's too dangerous for us to go live. They try to have us on the BIE. Her name is Professor Takia Anthony. Yeah, go pull her up. She got her own website. She was a recording artist. She wrote her dissertation on Marcus and Amy Garvey. And she has published papers. She knee deep in this game. She know both sides. Du Bois, Garvey, Malcolm, Martin. She know both sides. So I see why people scared. But I hate to quote Bone Crusher. Ain't that Bone Crusher? Or Killer Mike?
I ain't never scared.
I ain't never scared.
Bone Crusher.
I ain't never scared. Okay? Sorry. I'm finna go in on this one. All right. If there's not any more questions, we about to log off. You all have a great night. Protect your sons. We need Fred Hamptons. We need Marcus Garveys, not James Baldwin's and D. Ray McKesson's. And as I always say, BPM today,
BPM tomorrow, BPM for life.
Baby, we up out of here. See, this is why black kids This is why I can't take y'all nowhere.
Oh, you have to.
Put that gun down.
Oh, shit, you see me. What's going on, big fella?
Man, I've been getting ready. I'm glad you came over here because I've been working on my presentation. Hold up, let me shut this down.